I'm sorry, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You thought I was going to say Andrew Huberman's workout is the best. Copy it exactly. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going to be going over Andrew Huberman's muscle and strength building routine. Many people follow Andrew Huberman's morning routine, getting up in the sunlight, avoiding caffeine for the first 90 minutes a day, etc. But what about his weightlifting and cardio routine? This guy, he's in great shape. He's close to 50 years of age, and he's been training for over 30 years. And he's been essentially doing the exact same workout. At least he says so in the video. And so I'm going to go over the video, tell you what I think about it. Should you copy him? Is he optimizing his training? Let's get right into it.
My training week starts on Sunday. Sunday, I make it a focused effort to move as much as possible, ideally outdoors.
And so his training day, it begins on Sunday. To me, this is an excellent idea. I've been coaching people for decades, thousands of athletes, and oftentimes people, they write me and they say, I want to take the weekends off. And I'm like, why would you take the weekend off? You're working oftentimes Monday to Friday, and so you have hardly any time to fit in a workout. On the weekends, you don't work, you're relaxing, you have plenty of time. And so why not make the most of it?
Endurance. If I'm on my own, I'll throw on a 8 or 10 pound weight vest and I'll head out for probably a 75-minute to a 90-minute slow jog.
One day on each and every week, that should be focused on an endurance day. Whether your goals are to build muscle or improve your cardio, etc., one day during the week should be focused on doing longer bouts of cardio. If you're a cardio athlete like myself, of course you're going to go harder. Perhaps you're jogging, cycling, swimming, whatever, but that's going to be a very long cardio session, perhaps an hour to 2 hours or even more. Now, if your focus is primarily to build muscle, you can do the exact same thing, only at a slower pace. Andrew Huberman oftentimes will go for a 90-minute jog, perhaps at zone 2. He's not going very far, but he makes up for the intensity by going further. And so in the weightlifting world, that's considered doing more volume. And so on Sunday, it's all about the volume. Go for a long walk, an extended walk, a hike. Sometimes he goes for 5 hours, he's hiking. Now, Andrew enjoys putting on a weighted vest. I don't believe that's beneficial. You don't have to do that. Rather than adding on a 10-pound vest and going for a jog, just jog a little bit faster. Rather than, for example, jogging 7 miles an hour with a weighted vest, you can simply jog 8 miles an hour. Essentially, it's going to do the exact same thing. And so I don't believe there's any benefit to wearing a vest, but if you want to do that, by all means, be my guest.
Then Monday, the goal for me is to train my legs, a warm up, and then 2 to 3, maybe 4 hard sets.
And so here's the thing. If you just went for a 90-minute jog or you went for a 5-hour hike, the next day after that to train legs, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's probably not the best idea. What are the chances you're going to be able to do some heavy leg presses and squats and so on after jogging for 90 minutes or perhaps going for a 2-hour hike? And so what I would rather see is, for example, he would train his upper body. Think of it. If you just finished jogging, cycling, and so on, and you did 90 minutes on Sunday, and on Monday you were to train your upper body, would that not make more sense? Your legs are sore. The next day you're training your upper body, giving your legs a chance to rest. And on Tuesday, you can then train your legs.
So I start with tib raises. So it's going to be a couple warm-ups, and then I'll do, 3 sets per tib of anywhere from 6 to 10 reps.
And so many of you probably have no idea what he's talking about. He's saying tib raises. I do believe that's the anterior tibialis. It's the muscle on the front of the shin. This muscle right here, you can see as I'm raising my toes, this is known as dorsiflexion. Imagine you're opening the door. The opposite would be putting your foot down, that is plantar flexion. And so when you dorsiflex, you're in fact flexing the anterior tibialis. And so what do I think about doing 3 sets of that? I think it's a complete waste of time. I'm sorry, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You thought I was going to say Andrew Huberman's workout is the best. Copy it exactly. I believe that if you go to the gym and waste 3 sets of doing anterior tibialis raises, there is no point to doing this. Why are we training this muscle? It is not important unless you have injuries, and perhaps Andrew Huberman has his reasons for doing this. But for the average person, for the general population, I don't suggest you go to the gym and start doing multiple sets of anterior tibialis raises.
6 to 30 reps, anywhere in there can get you hypertrophy if you go to failure and if you go hard. I like to train in the more or less the 5 to 10 repetition range.
What is my personal opinion on that? Andrew Huberman is almost 50. He's my age, and I believe that as you get older, you're more likely to get injured, especially if you're on performance-enhancing drugs. I'm not accusing Andrew of being on steroids. I do believe he's on HRT. But for the average person out there, I think that if you do sets of 5 to 10, you're more likely to get injured than if you were to do sets of 10 to 15. And so my suggestion would bring the reps up just a little. Yeah, it's not as fun for most people. It's fun to lift very heavy weights. It doesn't take as long. You feel more macho. You're ego lifting a bit. But if you want to avoid injuries and play it safe and build just as much muscle, why not lift 10 to 15 reps? And so my suggestion, raise the reps, get 10 to 15 reps per set.
So I train TIBs, then I do sled or standing calf raises. Same thing, 2 to 4 sets.
And so he's training the anterior tibialis, he's training the calves. But remember, did we not just hear that on Sunday he went for a 5-hour hike or perhaps a 90-minute jog? What muscles do you think are going to be sore or activated during that hike or that jog? Do you believe he's going to be training the calves and the anterior tibialis? Think about it. And so why would we then the next day focus on these muscles? He, in my opinion, is overtraining these muscles. I can't imagine going for a 5-hour hike and being able to perform optimally the following day.
Then I'm weaker in the hamstrings than I am in my quads. So I do 2 warm-ups and then 2 to 4 working sets of lying leg curls.
And so he says he's weaker in his hamstrings than he is in the quads. Almost everyone is weaker in the hamstrings than in the quads. Generally speaking, most people should strive to have 2/3 the strength in the hamstrings as that of the quads. And if you look at the majority of injuries, consider the sprinters out there, you watch on TV, guys running to first base, playing sports and so on. You oftentimes hear people saying, I pulled a hammy. If you were to just train one muscle, the hamstrings or the quads, I would strongly suggest you train the hamstrings. But of course, you want to train both. But most people, in my opinion, should focus on the hamstrings far more than the quads. But of course, I get it. The quads are more aesthetic. Most people, they can see your quads. You're standing in the mirror, you can flex them, and rarely do people go and look at your hamstrings. And so my choice of cardio that builds both the hamstrings and the quads, in particular when you're riding uphill, is of course cycling. This allows you to do more cardio than last time without the eccentric load that you'll experience while doing some running.
Tuesday, I'm doing something really different. First of all, my legs need recovery. So what I'll do is substantial amounts of deliberate heat exposure and deliberate cold exposure.
And so on Tuesday, he finally needs a rest day. The guy's been doing tons of cardio on Sunday. He's training legs, very intense, heavy workout on Monday. And so he needs a break. And yes, he does enjoy his cold showers, the dopamine release and so on. But remember, he advises you not to do cold water therapy deliberately following your weightlifting workout. If you do so, it's going to limit the muscle building potential of that workout.
You don't want to get into an ice bath after hypertrophy training, in the 6 hours after a hypertrophy training, because it can blunt the hypertrophy.
Studies show you should separate your cold water exposure from your weightlifting workout because the inflammation that you get from lifting weights is one of the things that signals the body to build muscle. And so if you do cold water therapy following your workout, you're actually going to limit your muscle growth. Now, if you're an athlete, for example, all you care about is cardio, then it's still a great idea. You don't care about building muscle. Do you really think riders in the Tour de France care about building a ton of muscle? The bigger their muscles, the slower they're going to go on the bike. They have to carry that body weight up those mountains. And so doing cold water therapy, for example, following a bike race for them would be a great idea.
I do protocol, which is pretty intense, designed to amplify growth hormone, stimulate a bunch of positive mood promoting hormones that last not just days, but weeks, say the literature.
I'm not against doing this to improve his mood, to relax, to recover, for the mental clarity and so on. But the growth hormone building effects, it's not there. I mean, I know Andrew Huberman is saying it can make a big difference. I personally don't believe this to be true. I don't think that using this day to go in a sauna for whatever minutes, back and forth, sauna, ice, and so on, I don't think it's going to increase your growth hormone so much that it's going to make all that much difference. In comparison, imagine how much more difference you could get from using GO2 Max and Turk Builder. You're worried about building more muscle and you're not using Turk Builder and GO2 Max? Are you kidding me? In comparison to going into a cold bath in a sauna, if you were to switch that out and use Turk Builder, The difference would be incredible. Interested in Turk Builder GO2 Max? Click the link in description, code Greg, 15% off.
So I'll do 20 minutes of sauna, 3 to 5 minutes in the cold plunge up to the neck, back into the sauna for 20 minutes, back into the cold plunge for 3 to 5 minutes, back into the sauna for 20 minutes.
That's an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to be honest, I'd rather go for an hour and 15-minute bike ride hard than have to go and do that. To me, Tuesday, that's his hardest day of the week. I'd rather go and hike, jog, do all that stuff than have to force myself to get into an ice bath for 3 to 5 minutes and then put myself into a 260-degree sauna for 20 minutes and repeat it 3 times. Are you kidding me? And even if I were to want to do that, I believe it would be better to do that between the running workout and the leg workout. Would it not be better to do this on Monday after that 5-hour hike or 90-minute jog, the day before he goes and trains legs, to allow himself that time to recover? You spent 90 minutes to 5 hours, depending on the day, and obviously the hiking is at zone 1, the running probably at zone 2, but would you not want that extra day on Monday to recover?
Generate all the hormone neurotransmitter type of adaptations that one wants, and you get very, very good at tolerating heat and cold.
I don't know if Andrew Huberman is perhaps Santa Claus and he's going from Dubai in the summer to the North Pole, round trips back and forth. Why do we need to adapt so much to the hot and cold? I'm in Canada. It goes from freezing cold temperatures in the winter to very hot temperatures in the summer. But we have things called a jacket and a fan. You see me at the gyms carrying my fan. Why do we need to be so good at going from hot to cold, hot to cold? Huberman, you could lay off the ice therapy, put on a toque and a jacket, and for the summer, you could wear a tank top. Now, I rarely see Andrew Huberman in a tank top. And so perhaps does Andrew Huberman have body dysmorphia? Doesn't want people to see the chesticles. But I do in fact believe that Andrew Huberman has an amazing physique. And so why don't we just show it off?
And Wednesday, I'm thinking about 5 minutes of warm up and then about 25 to 30 minutes of usually running for me.
Okay, and so on Wednesday, it's back to doing cardio, but not zone 2 this time. It's a bit faster, perhaps zone 3, maybe even zone 4. He enjoys to do approximately 25 to 30 minutes at a faster pace. He's going to improve his VO2 max. He's going to burn more calories than last time. After all, he's going at a faster pace. And so this is going to keep his heart very fit. He's going to burn more calories, and he's going to get all this done in a shorter period of time.
That's typically what I'll do on Wednesday. Although if my legs are still a little bit sore, that's when I'll train what I call torso.
Remember, he's doing a ton of cardio on Sunday and an intense leg training session on Monday. And so if the legs are still sore, he doesn't want to push it on Wednesday. He'll train torso. Torso being the center of the body minus the arms and the legs. Makes sense.
What I tend to do is overhead shoulder presses. After a warm-up, I like ring dips and dips these days, chest, shoulders.
Okay, I'm just starting to clue in right now. Okay, by torso, he means upper body workout. I mean, I thought torso, he's talking about perhaps his abs and so on, but essentially I'm hearing it's chest and shoulders and triceps. And so it's a push day. Most people don't consider chest, shoulders, and triceps to be torso, more so it's a push day.
I tend to train back every week. I do it every other week because just I have some genetic abnormality where those grow really easily and I can throw proportions off really quickly. But I might do 3 or 4 sets of chins.
And so he does 3 or 4 sets of back every 2 weeks. Now, my suggestion would be to do 1 or 2 sets every week. Rather than doing 4 sets once every 2 weeks, I think you should split it up and do 2 sets once a week. To me, that would make sense, but it's his body, his choice. He can do whatever he wants to do.
I do train my neck that day as well. It's important because you want a strong spine and it's the upper portion of your spine.
Okay, and so he wants a strong neck. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm looking at his neck and it is in fact very well developed. There's nothing wrong with that in particular, but remember this. There is in fact correlation between a larger neck and having sleep disorders. For example, sleep apnea. Men in particular on performance-enhancing drugs who develop a larger neck, they oftentimes will snore repeatedly during the night. This is excessively annoying, especially for those who are sleeping next to them, but it's also very dangerous. You'll oftentimes, people who are on abusive doses of steroids or those who are overweight, to require to sleep with a CPAP. They'll actually have to wear a mask. And so my personal opinion, I wouldn't recommend that you as a viewer to go and focus so much on your neck, but if you do have a smaller neck, nothing wrong with that.
The other thing that I notice that it does is it completely changes my psychology. I just naturally stand more upright.
Yeah.
I find it easier to look people in the eye.
I mean, I don't have the largest neck in the world, but I don't find it difficult to look people in the eye. And remember, I'm a manlet, and so I'm oftentimes doing like this. And so perhaps because I'm so short and I have to go like this all the time, perhaps having too thick of a neck, it would get in the way. And so for me, I have to train less of the neck muscles so that I can always be looking up. Kind of like an OnlyFans star. They always want to have a smaller neck because, well, you get the point.
It's not hard for me to look people directly in the eye when I speak to them, but I find I just have like my posture and presence is just better.
And so my personal opinion is regardless of the strength of the neck, you're probably going to be able to look people in the eye. Whether you're a 5'6" man like Coach Greg or you're 7'6" and you're looking down on people, I don't believe the strength of the neck is a limiting factor on looking at someone in the eyes.
Friday is the day that I do a short workout, usually only about 3 minutes of warm up and about 12 minutes of training. And the goal is to get my heart rate as high as I possibly can.
All right, I have to completely disagree with Andrew on this one. As you know, I've been an endurance athlete my entire life. I started doing triathlons at 13 and so on. I'm telling you, if on Friday you do a 3-minute workout followed by a 12-minute as hard as you can go to get your heart rate up to maximum, you're not doing it. It takes much longer than 12 minutes to allow your heart rate to get up to its maximum. You're thinking, no, it don't. You just sprint. There's something known as cardiac drift, and it takes an extended period of time, perhaps 20 to 40 minutes, to allow your heart rate to rise slowly so that you can get up to its maximum. If you just go out and warm up for 3 minutes and then go as hard as you can for 12 minutes, you're not going to get the same maximum heart rate as if you warm up for 20 minutes and then gradually ramp up for another 20 minutes. Try it. I dare you. You don't think that Coach Greg understands the heart? Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist. The brain. Coach Greg, I raced bikes, did triathlons, ran. I did all these things and I studied it in university. And so I do in fact get this. You're not going to get your maximum heart rate in 12 minutes. Sorry, not possible.
Just increasing VO2 max, getting those really fast twitch muscle fibers. My favorite way to do this is I'll get on the assault bike, which are the ones with the handles, with the fan.
Now, second of all, fast twitch muscle fibers are not those that you're using for 12 minutes. Those are slow twitch muscle fibers. You're thinking, no, it's fast twitch because you're going so fast. It's so fast for 12 minutes. 12 minutes is a long time. When you're running a mile or two, it's mostly slow twitch muscle fibers. Fast twitch muscle fibers, 10 seconds, perhaps 30. But you're not going to train the fast twitch muscle fibers by doing a 12-minute workout. But you're thinking, no, but he says he does interval training. He goes hard for 20 seconds, slow for 10. If you go hard for 20 seconds and you only rest for 10, the next 20 seconds, you're going slow. I don't care how fit you are. The fastest runner in the world, they run for 20 seconds and jog or walk for 10 and then do it again for 12 minutes. That is endurance training. That is not how you train your VO2 max. You need much longer rest intervals. And so if he had said, I sprint for 20 seconds and I walk for a minute and sprint for 20 because I'm working on fast twitch muscle fibers, then I would believe him. But resting only 10 seconds after going hard for 20, that is endurance training. That is going to allow you to train from perhaps zone 3 to zone 4. 10 seconds is not a long enough time to allow your heart rate to go down. Let's say you're running along for 20 seconds, your heart rate's 170, and you walk for 10 or even just stand still. You go from 170, maybe 150 at most. Go back to 170. It's not going to go down to 100 and relax and go to 190 to your maximum. And so 20 seconds hard and 10 seconds easy, 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds easy. That's essentially just varying the pace. That is hard training, but it's certainly not zone 5. You're not going all out. You could not do it. No one can go all out for 20 seconds and walk for 10 and do it again for 12 minutes.
And then what I like to do is take a band and tie it to something like a chin-up bar or something, and I'll squat down and jump. Our ability to jump and land is strongly correlated with physical longevity.
So here's the thing with correlation. Just because it's correlated doesn't mean it's causation. Just because your ability to jump and land is correlated with longevity, they're correlated with living a long life, doesn't mean that if you just practice jumping and landing, that you're going to live a longer life. To the same extent, grip strength is correlated with living a longer life. But if you just practice your grip strength all the time and you sit on your ass and eat junk food and you have the strongest grip in the world, doesn't mean you're going to live longer than if you didn't train your grip strength at all and went for a walk. And I'm certain that Andrew Huberman knows this analysis. And so you can't just look at every study and say, well, this study said that increased grip strength is going to make me live longer. This one said that jumping and landing is going to make me live longer. And so I'm going to practice grip strength and jumping and landing. Don't just think you have to practice only what the correlational studies are saying. Do everything. Just overall, be a fit person. Eat healthy. Do cardio. Have muscles and be strong.
And then Saturday is the fun one. I'll go into the gym in the morning. Usually it's mid-morning. I'll do, small muscle groups, biceps, triceps, rear delts.
And so for Andrew, that's fun. For me, that would be boring. I would hate it. But here's the thing. Do what makes you happy. Do what's fun. For me, biking, that would have been my fun workout. Saturday, we're going for the bike ride. But what if you hate riding bikes? Getting saddle sores, you're chafed, you hate it. Why would you bike ride? Maybe you want to go for a hike in the woods. Maybe you have a dog, you're going for a walk. Whatever's fun, go out and do it. And you know what? If whatever is fun for you, you want to do it 7 days a week and avoid everything else, do that. It's okay. Whatever gets you out of the house or even in the house, but being physically active, that is what you need to do. If all you want to do every day is go for a walk, have some fun, move your body, get in the steps, be active, that's all you need to do. If you're physically active, I don't care what you're doing. No matter what it is, if it's fun for you, go out and do it. But if you hate what you're doing, for example, if I had to go for 20 minutes in a sauna and 5 minutes in an ice bath, I had to do that back and forth every day, and hate it, I wouldn't do it. And so I wouldn't be fit. Why? Because my program would suck. It might be the best program in the world, but if I don't want to do it, then I ain't doing it.
And so what I've noticed in the last 24 months or so is that I continue to get stronger and better in each of these areas.
And so overall, I think he has a great workout. It's been working for himself for years. He's been doing this for decades. It focuses on both muscular adaptations, as in building muscle and strength, and cardiovascular endurance, as well as he does faster exercises to improve his VO2 max. Excellent workout. I'm giving him a 9 on 10. Personally, I don't believe in the sauna being all that beneficial for growth hormone and so on. And I do believe it'd be better to separate his cardiovascular workout on Sunday with his leg workout on Monday, but everything else, amazing. Keep doing what you're doing, Andrew. It's working for you. And anyone interested in improving their ability to build strength and endurance, please consider Turk Builder and GO2 Max. Code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo, like the video if you did in fact like it, watch one of those tube loops, and of course, the cookbooks, of which you can add in Seacoal protein bars between meals as an amazing snack, 230 calories, 20 grams of protein, as well as the training books, the Circle Diet book, my Harder Than Last Time clothing line. You can get all that on the website. Code Greg, 15% off. And until next time, I am out.